Are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? If you're a woman, you're not alone. With over 1,000 hormone disruptors in our environment, it's no wonder things can feel out of balance. On top of that, natural changes like PMS, menopause, and other life stages can leave you feeling tired, irritable, and trapped in a constant battle with your body. But here's the good news. You don't have to suffer through it. Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth is here to help. This herbal formula fine-tunes your hormones, balancing estrogen, testosterone, and even stress hormones like cortisol, which can contribute to weight gain, racing thoughts, poor sleep, and more. With over 40,000 five-star reviews and a bottle selling every 24 seconds, the results speak for themselves. Ready to feel like yourself again? For a limited time, get 15% off your first order at happymammoth.com using code NEXTCHAPTER at checkout. Visit happymammoth.com today and get your old self back naturally.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Today's show is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play in this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Stoveleg Media. Igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
All right. I see you. I see you in your raccoon, but you know what? I'm going to raise you. I'll see your raccoon and I'll raise you a mule.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John here with Jamie. I think my voice is better, which is weird. How are you doing?
It is. Well, till the very end there. Yeah, we just recorded a Bless Their Hearts before this, and you sounded like crap, and you're magically better.
I don't know what's happened, and I'm sure it's not going to last, but we have an awesome story for you in 10 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing, because I'm so excited to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a bizarre yet troubling story out of Murray, Kentucky. Murray State just went to the College World Series, so that was great, but some not so great stuff happening out there as well. One guy, Jonathan, whose nickname is Cowboy Cody Mason, and his unconventional accomplices. He had a mule and he had a raccoon, and he committed some crimes with them. So let's go in chronological order. What happened first, John?
All right. So go back to around Christmas time last year, December the 7th, 2024, 40-year-old Jonathan Mason, as you said, we're going to call him Cowboy Cody. Also, Cody, not part of his name. So
maybe a middle name we're not aware of.
It's amazing. So he showed up at a bar called Tap 216, 216, I don't know, Tap 216. That's a bar in Murray. But he showed up riding a mule. Now, this is Kentucky, right? So this would be, I don't know. Murray is in western Kentucky, which is a totally different world than eastern Kentucky.
And I tried to explain that to people this week. Kentucky is very long, like Tennessee, where you're from. And the western half is its own thing, I think, of both states.
Yeah. Like western Kentucky, if this story happened in eastern Kentucky, nobody bats an eye because there's mule everywhere. But in western Kentucky, you're like, well, is this guy from eastern Kentucky? And then moved to Murray. But anyway, he showed up to Tap 216 riding a mule. And according to Murray police, he brought a bullwhip and rode drunk inside the bar. He didn't park his mule outside. Jamie, he rode this mule into the bar.
Never a good look. You always leave your mule outside. Everybody knows that. So they were.
And he was whipping the mule.
Yeah. Which,
like, that's not okay.
I don't know if we talked about it on an episode, but the guy who rode the the winner of the Kentucky Derby got in trouble for whipping the horse too much. And
Yeah, that's a whole other
this guy's
story.
following suit. So people were freaked out and they called police immediately. Officers arrived to find Mason on the mule, intoxicated and still whipping or beating the animal. Reports say that the mule was malnourished, it only weighed about 100 pounds, was clearly mistreated, was really in no shape to be ridden at this time, and animal control stepped in as well. Mason refused to come down off of the mule. He wasn't cooperating in any way, and eventually they arrested him and took him to the Cowboy County Jail. He was charged there with cruelty to animals and resisting arrest. But he posted bond and was ordered to stay away from both the mule and the bar he was at.
Yeah, well, that didn't last long
It
because
sounds like it's from the Old West.
I know, right? But this is like 7 months ago. So that didn't last long. 2 days later, December the 9th, 2024, he was spotted again. And guess who was with him? Well, his compadre, the mule, and he was riding the same mule and clearly intoxicated again. I mean, I might be intoxicated because I can't say intoxicated.
Yeah.
But when I see a grown man riding like a moped on the street, or if I saw this guy on a mule, you know, my first assumption, he can't drive because he has too many DUIs.
Yep.
So he probably does, and he's riding this mule drunk. So when police spotted him, they tried to approach him. He fled, and he finally was arrested and faced charges a second time for fleeing and then again for animal cruelty. But then fast forward to just earlier this month, June 6, 2025, at 9:18 p.m., Cowboy Cody entered the bar called the Big Apple Grill and Bar, where he had previously been banned again because he was too drunk. But this time he brought another animal. Jamie? He brought a live raccoon that he allegedly had trapped earlier that day on his farm.
We've talked about the fact that I used to have a pet raccoon, so there's a big difference between those brought up in captivity and wild raccoons are very, very violent. Of course, you walk into the Big Apple Bar and Grill with a raccoon and they're going to ask you to leave. He returned and he released the raccoon into the crowded bar. And the animal, obviously freaking out and in self-defense mode, ended up biting an employee that tried to grab it. Now, raccoons have claws. They can be vicious. I know they look cute and have their little masks on or whatever, but this employee had to get a rabies shot. The bartender jumped in and intervened. Her name was Mary Hafner, and she used a towel to grab the raccoon and move it safely. I feel like she may have done this before. That's the vibe I get. And then she took it outside and let it run away. But this is the second occurrence of Cowboy Cody bringing an animal into a bar.
I picture the scene on The Office where the bat gets in the building and everybody's freaking out.
Just like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, this sounds made up, but it's not. So, of course, police trace that incident back to Cowboy Cody. I mean, if there's an animal issue, just your first thought is Cowboy Cody, right?
Every time in Murray, in Callaway County, which again, I couldn't tell you where Callaway County is, so I'm going to say it's in Western Kentucky.
Oh yeah, it's out there in Murray. So they spotted him. He was driving nearby. They attempted to do just a routine traffic stop and to talk to him, but he refused to lower his windows or to exit the vehicle, which forced officers to use force to get him out of this car. He was booked into the Callaway County Jail, facing multiple charges: second-degree assault because the raccoon did bite somebody, third-degree criminal trespass because he was banned from that establishment, resisting arrest, and failure to maintain vehicle insurance, which maybe he doesn't have too many DUIs because they didn't get him with driving on a revoked or suspended license.
But it's still interesting to me throwing that insurance violation in there. Like, is it even a big deal given everything else he did? I don't know.
So, dude, when I saw this, I knew that it was just a story built for True Crime to go. How many raccoon stories are there out there?
Not enough, I'll tell you that much. I wish there were more. I love a good raccoon story, and this is certainly a good one.
Yep. That's it, man. had to talk about Cowboy Cody. A long time ago, there was a website you could go to called If This, Then That. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
So what we could do, maybe if it still exists, is put out a if Cowboy Cody gets arrested again, then we're going to get an email. Like, this guy has to be the new the new face of True Crime to Go.
Yeah,
there's going to be a Cowboy Cody story at least once every 6 months.
We have to have an alert, I think.
Yep.
So
we'll work on setting that up.
Yep. What animals next? We should get a betting pool. We'll make some money off this.
I love it. If you guys are interested in that, let us know and we will make that happen.
I got money on possum. We appreciate you guys. This has been a crime story in 10 minutes or less.
I think it's an armadillo. And would you like crime with that?
Hey guys, Nate here from True Crime Cast. Look, have you ever wished that you could go back in time and see the events that shape the true crime cases that really just fascinate you? But with newspapers.com, it's like having a time machine into the past. Dive into more than 1 billion, that's right, billion with a B, newspaper pages from 1690 all the way up to 2025 and relive the headlines that shocked entire towns. Explore newspapers from the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and beyond with just a simple search. Read the breaking news as it happened. Crime scene reports, witness testimonies, courtroom drama, you name it. Explore forgotten clues and see how the media shaped the narrative of infamous cases. But it's not just the major stories. Newspapers.com lets you dig into local mysteries, missing persons reports, and small town scandals that history, unfortunately, forgot. It's the closest thing that you can get to being there when it all unfolded. So if you're ready to dig deeper into the crimes that keep you up at night, start your journey today at newspapers.com. Just use the code TrueCrimecast at checkout for 20% off. Untold stories are waiting in the archives.
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.